Hi, I have Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz on the line. Okay, awesome. Can we stay on the line here? Okay. Okay.
Station 710 KURV.
Every year, nearly 8,000 pets come through the doors of Palm Valley Animal Society. Animals who need safety, care, and a second chance. At PVAS, we're committed to giving every dog and cat the compassion they deserve, from life-saving medical care to loving new homes. But we can't do it alone. Your support helps us protect the most vulnerable animals in the Rio Grande Valley and build a more humane community for all. Visit pvastx.org or our social media to adopt, donate, or get involved today. Together, we save lives.
The 710 KURV People Poll is brought to you by Total Imaging Solutions. Visit them to claim your free color photocopier. Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the program. I am your humble host, Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz. Absolutely the best news radio producer in all of Texas. And we're going to start the show by going to Washington, D.C., and our Congresswoman, District 15, Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz. Big happenings in the Valley, huge happenings in McAllen. So we have this industrial park in McAllen. It's almost 50 acres. I think it's like 47 acres, if I'm correct. And our Congresswoman, Monica De La Cruz, was able to bring a sitting Commerce Secretary to the area, Howard Lutnick. Surprise, surprise. Like, wow, he's in town. And they were announcing $6 million in infrastructure funding, grant money for that. And I think there's millions more from the private sector. Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz, my friend, welcome back to the program. So tell me more about this grant for this massive industrial park being planned for in McAllen.
Well, good morning, Sergio, and good morning to all those listening in the Rio Grande Valley. Miss you guys and can't wait to get back home. I'm going to tell you that I was with Secretary Lutnick in a truly historic moment. Sergio, it was the first time ever in the history of the Rio Grande Valley that the Secretary of Commerce come to the Valley to visit our local hardworking people. And what this goes to show, Sergio, is that finally, for the first time ever, the Rio Grande Valley has a seat at the table with the White House and with the administration. And look, South Texas is loved by the president and this administration, so much so that they are putting their money into investing into the good people of South Texas. How they're doing it is through this grant process, which was a $6 million investment into the industrial park. And what this is going to do is create jobs, and more jobs. So the economic impact will be immeasurable for the Rio Grande Valley.
What does it say that the administration's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, and they're committed on the economic development brainstorming up in D.C. It seems to me that they're trying to create a landing pad for what is very popular these days, which is manufacturing in the U.S. of A., America first. So I suspect it's going to be a bit easier for McAllen Economic Development and nearby entities to do some reshore, to bring industry to the area. So that's in the near future and might involve other secretaries of the administration. I wouldn't be surprised if I see more people come down here with you here pretty soon.
Absolutely, Sergio. We are an American first administration. And this is why I stand by President Trump and Secretary Lutnick in bringing economic prosperity and commerce, including manufacturing, to the Rio Grande Valley. At the end of the day, what the president is looking for is to bring all of these companies that went overseas, where jobs went overseas, we want to bring them back to America and to be self-sufficient. Well, we're not depending on China. We're not depending on any other country but ourselves. And guess what, Sergio? We have the talent. We have the workforce. And the Rio Grande Valley has a young workforce. So when we look at this $6 million investment, yes, it is into the industrial park. But guess what? They have to eat. So what does that mean? Restaurants. Well, restaurants need waiters. So what does that mean? That means more waiters. What does that mean? That means the trickle down effect from this $6 million is going to be $1 billion at the end of the day.
Yeah. $36 million private sector investment, $6 million federal grant, 47-acre industrial park. Good things happening in McAllen, likely to be a landing pad for more industry as they reshore near future. My guest, Monica de la Cruz, Congresswoman, District 15. Please tell me that you had a chance to take Secretary Lutnick, Commerce Chief, to taste some real Mexican food. Like, did you take him to like Palenque Grill or any place like that before left down?
You know what? I did ask, and what the secretary promised me is that he will be back in McAllen, Texas, because while I had him there at the round table, I took the initiative and I said, Mr. Secretary, this is historic for us. So I'm going to make all my ass right now. And what I asked for was another $2 million for the city of Alamo for a grant that they have applied for, and another $8 million project that the McAllen Airport applied for as well. Okay. And he said, you want to see me back here again, don't you? And I said, I want to see you back at least 2 more times so we can deliver these monies.
Please let me know, man. We need to show this boy what real Mexican food is like here at Valley Style.
Absolutely.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. I got about a minute or so left with you. Fentanyl, tracking down the sources, the money sources for fentanyl. Thank you for hosting us when we went up to D.C. recently. I was told by one of your staffers that report is ready. So give me an update on that. What happens next? Tell me about that fentanyl funding source report.
I'm really proud of this bill because fentanyl has killed so many loved ones in our community and around this nation. And so the report is complete. What their staff discovered is very disturbing. And what they found was the stuff out of movies, made in movies. Remember, Chinese fentanyl suppliers were selling their drugs under code names to tip off cartel. And what they were ultimately doing was laundering fentanyl money through the United States. And cartels, as we know, have increased their reliance on these Chinese nationals. Why? Well, the border is now secure. So where are they focusing their money on? Drugs. So we're working with committee to create legislation that will stop these illicit activities. And that will be next on my list of things to work on in the upcoming Congress.
All right. Thank you for your time. We'll look forward to our next conversation. Congresswoman, District 15 of Texas, from the Rio Grande Valley. She's in D.C. right now. That's Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Sticking around. Got many more conversations. Catching up with the day's news. So we've got on standby, I got a friend over in London from Fox News. Latest on the Iran war headlines as well. News from D.C. Jared Halpern joining us from the nation's capital as well. So we got Jonathan, good. Okay, so let's go across the pond. Okay, see if you can reconnect on that one. Yeah, and an invitation, by the way, one of the new programs that we have, new segments that we have, on KURV is Dr. Pastor Ruben Martinez. Fridays at 10:10 a.m.'s counseling for professionals, life advice from professionals, not from a man, but from Scripture, from God Almighty Himself, from a biblical perspective. Great segment. I love this man. A wonderful new friend, Dr. Pastor Ruben Martinez. He's kicking off his Bible study, as he announced last week. That would be tonight. I'll get you more information on that, and he'll be joining us here in about 30 minutes on the program as well. Jonathan Savage, Fox News in London, joining us. Latest headlines from Iran, U.S. versus Iran. How many nights now has it been, John? 10, 11 straight nights of bombing Iran? What is it?
11 straight nights of bombing Iran. Mostly we're told that the purpose of these attacks is to weaken Iran's ability to threaten shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Remember last week and previously, President Trump had said that this week would be bridge and power plant week. Well, he's not gone through with that yet, but he has again today said that for every ship that Iran attacks, the U.S. will take out a bridge or a power plant. So he is escalating that threat and tying it directly now to Iran shooting at ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
It's called Karg Island, right? The main port or node that distributes oil for Iran, right? There has been no move by U.S. forces to take that, although some attacks to take out some, some gun turrets or whatever on the periphery. But Karg Island is a potential main target for the administration if he decides to take that depot.
Yeah, Karg Island handles about 90% of Iran's crude oil exports, and it has been touted as a possible place where U.S. troops could seize territory and put enormous pressure on Iran as a result. I mean, Iran has been typically defiant in the face of this concept. Foreign Ministry spokesman saying that there are people who are eagerly waiting the arrival of the Americans. So it's a small island about 40 miles off the coast. And we had heard from reports, including from the Wall Street Journal, that it is an option under consideration.
The cost of the war so far, so I think the last headline I saw was like $35 billion. There are funding issues up in D.C. as well. Have you been keeping up with those headlines on maybe a supplemental, more funding? Because as we keep firing missiles and guns and everything, I would imagine the Pentagon needs to replenish all that. So what do you see, what do you hear as headlines related to funding this war effort?
Yep. The war fighting obviously is not a cheap business. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was in Congress at the Senate Appropriations Committee. He said that the war has cost $37.5 billion so far. That's $8 billion more than the last estimate in May. And he asked for another $67 billion for operations in the Middle East. Obviously, some members of Congress pushed back on that, and Secretary Hegseth said, "We live in a dangerous world, and without these funds, we face critical shortfalls that threaten our ability to pay our service members, rapidly replenish equipment and munitions, and sustain vital operations."
Have some of the NATO and European, so-called allies, have they come around and changed their mind as far as protecting traffic through the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, there are countries who are willing to do so once the conflict comes to an end, but they're not willing to go in while Iran is still shooting at ships the way they have been doing. So France and the UK have been working on a strategy for that. The new British Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, spoke to President Trump about that within hours of taking office. Some other developments in the European front, Prime Minister Burnham is continuing a policy of allowing the United States to use British military bases for what the UK calls defensive strikes against Iran, that is taking out anything that is threatening Iran's neighbours or British interests, but also it would appear to assist with the targeting of military facilities near the Strait of Hormuz. On top of this, Bulgaria has today passed a law that will allow the United States to use a military base there for operations against Iran.
Okay. Are you able to confirm if let's say regional neighbors, Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Bahrain, if they have participated in strikes against Iran? There was some news a few days back and say, hey, we don't know where those planes come. It wasn't Israel. It wasn't the U.S. So was it regional neighbors that have been bombed by Iran?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very good question. We know that Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, the UAE, plenty of other countries have absolutely been attacked by Iran, but it's not exactly clear the extent to which these countries have fought back. We've heard from Saudi Arabia and the UAE in particular that they reserve the right to take military action against Iran, and there has been some speculation, like you say, the attacks have taken place that probably were coming from one of those countries. But for the most part, these Gulf states have avoided overt military action, certainly not doing anything publicly and not claiming any strikes.
All right. John, thanks for the update. Jonathan Savage for Fox News in London. Time is 9:21. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. Producer Freddie and I will try. Actually, Freddie's the one who's in charge. We'll try more often to broadcast live on the platforms. You can rewind anything you heard Jonathan say. Well, get Eagle, what do you say? You can go to 710 KURV, our Facebook and the X page, Twitter, and also YouTube page live. You can rewind and listen to any of the interviews that we just cleared. We appreciate you tuning in to the Pulse of the 956 News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show made possible this hour by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing.
Coming up after the Sergio Show, stay tuned for the Dana Les Show starting at 11, followed by the Brian Kilmeade Show at 2 on News Talk 710 KURV and on the Radio Potterme app.
Looking for a career in the skilled trades? Then don't miss the Tools and Talent Skilled Trades Job Fair. Join Workforce Solutions and the Edinburgh Economic Development Corporation Thursday, July 23rd from 9 a.m. till noon at the Edinburgh Activity Center at 123 Mark S. Peña Drive in Edinburgh. Meet employers hiring in welding, HVAC, manufacturing, construction, mechanics, and more. Take the next step towards your future at the Tools and Talent Skilled Trades Job Fair, July 23rd at the Edinburgh Activity Center. Workforce Solutions is an equal opportunity employer.
The true meaning of caring is feeling and showing concern, compassion, and kindness for others. It's been said, there is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. At McCaleb Funeral Home, it's what drives us.
Hi, I am Carla McCaleb. Along with my husband Mark and our caring staff, we know we are in the healing business because we hear it from families we serve. Please read our reviews about our life celebrations and fair and transparent prices for unmatched service and how we lift people up with our healing care and compassion, celebrating lives since 1963.
The Valley's only life celebration home. To learn more about the choices you can make now so a future funeral becomes more of a celebration of life, call Carla at 956-650-2841, 956-650-2841, or visit their website, McCalebFuneralHome.com. Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Thank you, McAllen, and thank you, Rio Grande Valley, for listening today to News Talk 710 KURV, the Valley's official home for Fox News Radio.
News Talk 710 KURV is your go-to station here in the Valley in the event of a hurricane tropical system that makes the news, and you need information from, the emergency management decision makers, that be the county judges many times. So hear from them, the Weather Service in Brownsville, AccuWeather, other folks from City Hall. Those conversations you need to know. I want to say thank you to our many supporters this tropical season. Mike's Plumbing, Electrical, and AC. They've been with us for years on this. Also, Lee's Pharmacy, Vega Roofing, and the Omar Ochoa Law Firm, Mayor Omar from Edinburgh. Thank you for your support. I hope it's quiet. I hope we don't get any threats, but I mentioned them because they support us in the event something, some tropical threat is in the area. Let's go to the nation's capital. And Jared Halpern joining us. One of the headlines I saw from Fox, Jared, was, of course, the Iranians threatening retaliation. President Trump issuing a start warning. I think his word said, we'll hit nuclear sites. I'm guessing it's the old sites that they hit that are probably deeper underground now, right? Is that what he's referring to?
Well, he said a couple of things. Let's say, I guess yesterday he suggested that strikes could expand to this facility called Pickaxe Mountain, which is near the Natanz nuclear site. It is a very fortified facility, and there is intelligence to suggest that Iran has moved its centrifuges into that area. And so certainly that would be a escalation of what the U.S. has been carrying out over the last 11 days. Resuming kind of these major combat operations that would require an awful lot of air power, an awful lot of firepower to go after a site like Pickaxe Mountain. So the president yesterday certainly suggested that was on the target list and would be coming soon. He said that he didn't mind saying that because there's nothing that the Iranians can do about it. And then this morning, the president again kind of suggested a potential escalation by saying that for every vessel, every ship that Iran targets in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will take out a bridge or power plant. Recall taking out this infrastructure, in many cases civilian infrastructure like bridges and power plants, is something that President Trump has long threatened to do and has called off, sometimes just a matter of hours or less before those strikes, but now is resuming those types of threats. And so we'll see what the Iranian response may be here over the next day or so.
Jared Halpern, Fox News up in D.C. Is today the day that the president he attends that dignified transfer, or is that later in the week?
Mm-hmm. The president just landed at Dover Air Force Base. There'll be a dignified transfer for 3 service members who were killed last week in Jordan in a drone and missile strike from Iran. President Trump has attended a few of these since the war began back in February. They are very hard. Every president, including President Trump, has talked about it being among the most challenging things that they do, meeting with these families, obviously seeing these boxes come off the plane. It's very regimented. This is something that the military takes incredibly seriously, and it is a very dignified transfer. That's why it's called a dignified transfer ceremony. So the president will do that, and then he will fly down to Georgia this afternoon. He has an event in Marietta, Georgia. He will be at a school talking about the Trump accounts, certainly part of the midterm messaging that Republicans are trying to trumpet here as we get closer to the November races.
The Defense Chief, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, had to sit down with lawmakers, some fireworks back and forth. Did you glean any interesting comments on this? In particular, the funding, the necessary funding to continue and reload.
What was new is how much money now we know has been spent in the war in Iran, well over $30 billion. Mm-hmm. This was a hearing for a supplemental funding request of many billions more. And so there were questions certainly about why, if the president and Hegseth had said that the Iranian military is incapacitated and destroyed, why these strikes continue to be carried out, why attacks continue on vessels. And Hegseth said, listen, just because they've been degraded doesn't mean that they don't have any capabilities. They still have limited capabilities, and we're trying to take those out. But he did not provide kind of an update that lawmakers were looking for perhaps a timeline for how much longer the war with Iran will continue.
All right, so countdown to leaving D.C. How many more days for Congress to sit around and, well, I guess do nothing? It doesn't seem like much is passing.
I'm not sure. Let's see how the House yesterday was able to pass a long-term CR through the end of the year, so past the midterm elections. I don't know if that's going to be able in its current form to get through the Senate, the 60 votes needed in the Senate, amid questions about funding for the Pentagon, some other funding issues that are included in that. But if that gets done, it certainly takes a lot of pressure off lawmakers, because it is really the most pressing matter, is avoiding a government shutdown before the election. So if the Senate is able to sync up with the House or send something back to the House, and those measures are able to sync up, they can get a spending bill through the end of the year. Certainly that would make it a lot easier for lawmakers to cut away here and start their campaignings over August and September and beyond.
Proof of life for Mitch McConnell. I see a lot of those posts on X, and other people say, well, where is Mitch McConnell right now? Is he still recuperating, or what's the story on him?
I don't know where he is. He is certainly recuperating. We saw the statement a couple of weeks ago from his office saying that he intends to return to the Senate, and we'll see how quickly that happens.
All right. And John Cornyn, did you see the headline on John Cornyn? Says, I'm not going to help the president with some of these ambassador appointments until I get commitments on U.S. money for Africa, for AIDS help.
Yeah, PEPFAR. Listen, PEPFAR's been a long-running program. It was started by George W. Bush. It was instrumental in combating the AIDS epidemic in Africa. It has always had a lot of bipartisan support. John Cornyn has been a longtime supporter of it. Other Republicans have been longtime supporters of it. They believe that it is money well spent, provides a measure of stability in a part of the world where instability can cost America a lot more. And so you are starting to see members of the Senate kind of use the leverage they have, in this case, holding up nominees unless this PEPFAR money is restored. There's also the question of whether or not the president has the authority to just unilaterally roll this money back. It has been authorized again and again and again through congressional legislation. And so part of the argument that you'll hear from John Cornyn and others is that Congress approved this money and it needs to be spent in the way that Congress authorized it.
President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. Everything has an acronym, right? PEPFAR, President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief. All right, pal. Have a great day. That's Jared Halperin, Fox News, up in D.C. Time is 9:31. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. And big thank you to our supporter every day, every weekday, as we bring you the program. It's Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, the website chamberlainltd.com. A look at some headlines, some news up next on the Sergio Show, 710 KURV.
South Texas heat isn't just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. When temperatures climb to 100 degrees or higher, we'll bring you the News Talk 710 KURV Heat Alert. It's your signal to take action. Drink plenty of water, stay indoors when you can, and check on your loved ones. Extreme heat can impact anyone, especially kids, seniors, and pets. And be sure to check the back seat of your vehicle. The News Talk 710 KURV Heat Alerts, powered by Lee's Pharmacy. Beat the heat. Stay informed with News Talk 710 KURV.
Are you in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota? Look no further than Toyota of Far. They have extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota trucks and Toyota SUVs, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Number to call, 956-815-2285.
We're out of bottled water again.
That's nuts. I just bought a case of water last time I went shopping.
I'm not drinking tap water.
We need a better solution.
Call Culligan.
Hey, Culligan man.
Stop buying little bottles of water at the store. A Culligan drinking water system makes an almost unlimited supply of fresher, cleaner water that tastes pure. It's bottled water without the bottles. For better water, go to CulliganRGV.com or call 956-399-1780.
It's summer, and Lee's Pharmacy wants to remind you to use sunscreen, protect your skin, and lower your risk of skin cancer. Make Lee's your summer stop this year. Lee's Pharmacy, from medical equipment, medicine compounding, support braces to sunscreen and other skincare products. Fast and easy prescriptions refilled. Just go to leespharmacy.com, click on the refill location tab, and enter the information. Lee's Pharmacy, it's that easy. Make Lee's your pharmacy of choice. Lee's Pharmacy, open early and open late for you.
Go to Lee's, they've got it.
Freedom is calling, and the savings are bigger than ever at the Toyota of Far Freedom Sales Event. Drive home an all-new Tacoma for just $92 a month, a powerful Tundra for $177 a month, a stylish Camry for only $92 a month, or a versatile RAV4 for just $189 a month. Visit Toyota of Far at 1625 West Interstate 2 in Far. Shop online at toyotaofar.com or call 956-815-2285.
Toyota of Far, somos buena gente.
Be part of a breakthrough in liver research. Join a MASH study at Summit Clinical Research. Study related care, treatment, and compensation at no cost. Check eligibility now at NASHlivertrials.com.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. A new warning to Iran from President Trump.
He posted on Truth Social saying from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran.
Fox's Trey Inks reporting the commander-in-chief heading to Dover Air Force Base in Delaware.
President Trump says it will be a great honor to pay his respects to the American service members at the dignified transfer to Dover Air Force Base. Last night, the Department of War announced another soldier killed in last weekend's enemy attack, Sergeant Angel S. Ramperstad, 28 years old, of Ozone Park, New York.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
Year 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast. Mostly sunny, very hot and breezy this afternoon. Highs of 104 to 108 with southeast winds at 6 to 12 miles an hour. Then tonight, partly cloudy. Lows from the mid-70s to 80 with south-southeast winds 7 to 14 miles an hour. A mix of clouds and sun Thursday. A passing afternoon shower. Highs in the mid-90s to low triple digits. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez. Rapid fire headlines.
Governor Greg Abbott issuing an executive order yesterday that is designed to crack down on birth tourism. Get some audio for you, Freddie. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Abbott says Texas will not tolerate individuals traveling to the U.S. illegally to give birth and secure citizenship for their child. He has directed 5 agencies to investigate claims of birth tourism schemes within the state's healthcare industry. North Texas Congressman Brandon Gill says this is happening at an alarming rate.
The idea that you could have Chinese coming into the country as tourists solely for the purpose of having a baby, that baby growing up in China, being an American citizen with voting rights in the U.S. is so idiotic.
The order also allows state agencies to partner with federal prosecutors to share information about possible violations.
There is a mad rush right now headed toward the river. You know that contractor that put those buoys to prevent illegal immigration at the Rio Grande? Well, that contractor is having to clean up a mess because of all the flooding. Those buoys went everywhere.
During last week's flood, the floating border wall and more buoys stored on the banks were swept downriver. Congressman Henry Cuellar says a federal contractor is in charge of cleanup.
They're in the process. Some of them have been recovered. They're in the process of recovery. They haven't done all of them yet.
He says that some buoys made it 160 miles downstream, and they've become a hot commodity. Some on the Mexican side of the river have fished them out, stripped off the plastic, and are selling the aluminum parts for scrap. Michael Board, News Talk 710 KURV.
Hundreds of high-paying jobs headed to North Texas. Taiwanese AI hardware developer is building a $700 million plant near Fort Worth. AI giant NVIDIA, along with Wistrom from Taiwan, held a groundbreaking ceremony yesterday. More high-tech headed to Texas. Local note, 4 months after a couple of kids died and there were reports of staffing problems, the Texas Department of Family Protective Services has cut ties with a contractor, a foster care contractor called Empower. More than 2,000 kids in the Empower system will be transferred to other state contractors for foster care. Republican Senator John Cornyn was saying that he will block President Trump's ambassador nominations unless the White House commits to funding AIDS relief in Africa. John Cornyn made that announcement yesterday. Back to the Valley, the first public bay access, public pier on the island in 30 years is now up and running. Officials held a grand opening ceremony for the $3 million Marisol boat ramp. It's not a pier, it's a boat ramp. Sorry about that. That was held this week. The ramp includes a truck, trailer parking, and a fish cleaning station as well. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and State House Speaker Dustin Burrows are in the news. They're calling for an audit of the state agency that is charged with expanding high-speed internet access after there were some charges leveled by Democrats that agency is playing favorites.
The Texas Department of Broadband Development manages over $5 billion in state and federal money to expand internet access. And with roughly 3 million Texas households with no or insufficient high-speed internet, it's a big job. Patrick and Burroughs' call for a state audit of the agency came after State Senator Charles Schwartner called out BDO Director Bryant Clayton in a committee hearing last month.
I have my eye on y'all regarding the way y'all are conducting your business. And I don't care who's messing with your business, but we as an oversight committee are going to oversee it regarding fairness and transparency.
The fairness allegation has to do with the revising of grant rules that favor Elon Musk's Starlink satellite service over fiber optic.
In Austin, Chris Fox, News Talk 710 KURV.
Heads up to employers, anybody at HR. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is voting to end a rule that dates back to the 60s.
The EEOC is on track to end the rule that requires companies with more than 100 employees to report workplace demographics, including sex, race, and ethnicity. The rule was established by the Civil Rights Act to combat workplace discrimination. The EEOC claims the rule runs against a recent Supreme Court ruling that made it easier for workers from majority groups to sue for discrimination. The EEOC will hold a public hearing on the proposal next month. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Avengers Doomsday is already racking up millions of dollars in advanced ticket sales, way ahead of, I guess it's a pretty big deal, right? For the Avengers Doomsday, it's Downey Jr., right? Robert Downey Jr., let's see. He's Doom, Dr. Doom?
Dr. Doom, yeah.
So what is this, like an alternate universe where Iron Man comes back as Dr. Doom or what?
I don't know.
Like a portal opens up and,
I don't know why they cast
I'm
him.
alive, but I'm evil now.
Yeah, I don't know why they cast Robert Downey Jr. No. We might have a special visitor.
Yeah. Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
Yeah, I am. Are we over time, Freddie? What's going on?
Yeah, let's go to break.
Okay,
let's go to Tanya.
All right. Time is 9:42. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour made possible by Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. It's a post-election Wednesday morning, so we at the state of Arizona conducting their party primaries. Tanya J. Powers covering this for Fox News. So what happened, T?
Well, the Republican U.S. Representative Andy Biggs is the winner of the GOP primary in the gubernatorial race there in Arizona. This was one that was being closely watched. He of course, is the former House Freedom Caucus chair, staunch defender of President Trump. Matter of fact, he helped in the president's attempt to block the certification of his loss in 2020 in the election. This sets up the battle between Biggs and Katie Hobbs, the Democratic governor. It could be one of the closest governor's races that we see in November. 4 years ago, Hobbs narrowly beat Republican Carrie Lake by less than a percentage point. So that one was a close one then. We may have some kind of repeat of that or not. It just depends on how voters feel this time. It's a very different landscape than it was 4 years ago. A couple of other races in that governor's primary. You also had another Republican candidate, David Schweikert, who was a congressman. He was running in that primary. So there were, and he was the sitting congressman, or is, I guess, still in the 1st District of Arizona. So there were several Republicans who were trying to replace him in that extremely competitive district there. The Trump-backed candidate, former NFL kicker Jay Feely, won the 1st District GOP primary for that race. There are 18 congressional districts that are considered toss-ups across the country. 2 of those are in Arizona. That 1st district I just told you about, where Jay Feely won the GOP nomination, the primary there. And the other one is the Arizona's 6th district, which was not really a competitive primary, but those are 2 of the ones that are closely watched because they are considered toss-ups and, could have a large impact on who controls the House.
Okay. And the majority, what was it on the Fox report? 3, as you mentioned, 3, supported by Donald Trump, that won last night. And the primary on the Democrat side. Any interesting news on the Democrat primary side?
I think that 1st district one is still. I don't think it's been called yet.
It's still kind of close.
That is one that's closely watched as well. There was a couple other ones that I did want to mention. You mentioned the third Trump-backed candidate one was Mark Lamb, who won the 5th District GOP primary. That Secretary of State's race is normally, most people are not getting up this morning going, gee, I wonder how the Secretary of State's GOP primary went in Arizona. Okay, so
yes,
but hear me out.
Okay.
Stay with me for a second. So I mentioned Andy Biggs, who is in the election denier camp there with the gubernatorial race, and he won his primary. The Secretary of State's GOP primary, you had State Representative Alexander Kolodin, who won that Republican nomination in the Secretary of State's race to challenge the Democratic Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes. So the guy that won the Republican nomination in the Secretary of State's GOP primary, he's a lawyer. He was actually sanctioned by the state bar over his involvement in a couple of 2020 election cases that the court found baseless. One of those included they alleged that the vote was marred by fraud. They demanded that Joe Biden's victory in Arizona be overturned. That obviously did not happen. The reason I bring this up is because you've got both the governor and the Secretary of State. Those can be key positions in asserting power over the elections process.
Yeah.
That is why both of these races are going to be closely watched, even though it is a state Secretary of State's race. It doesn't necessarily tend to get national attention, but that could be a key thing when it comes to future, 2028 presidential elections, that kind of stuff. So that's sort of the bigger context picture as well.
Yeah, and we will see. That's true. All controlled by the states, of course, and we'll see if Jay Feely's stint with the Cardinals, like over a decade ago, if anybody remembers that, and if they like him enough to vote for him in November. Thank you, T, for the report. Tanya J. Powers for Fox News. Are you in the market for a new Toyota or pre-owned Toyota? Look no further than Toyota Afar. They have extensive selection of Toyota cars and Toyota trucks and Toyota SUVs, along with exceptional customer service every step of the way. Number to call, 956-815-2285.
This is a fraud alert. It is a crime in Texas for a person to solicit an accident victim for purposes of legal representation. If you have not requested the call or personal visit, report this crime to the Texas Rangers.
Chevy Silverado, the truck that America depends on. Get a new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab for only $32,995, or pay $30,995 for a new 2026 Chevrolet Colorado Crew Cab at Payne West Laco Chevrolet, Payne Alice Chevrolet, and PayneGM.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Locate to get us regardless.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC, McAllen Mission.
Time is 9:48, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This is also your station in the Valley for Astros baseball. And Ronel Blanco was on the mound yesterday. Remember the no-hit guy who was injured for a while? He's back. He's back. I think he coughed up a couple of runs last night. Yeah, he did. He was looking. I love the way this guy he pitches. Anyway, he's back. So we just need some solid pitching, and Astros need to keep on doing what they're doing right now, which is called winning. But go Astros! Game 3 of the series against the Fish. Let's go for the sweep. We're going to need a lot of sweeps here in the near future. Astros 6 and the Fish from Miami, 640 broadcast on 710 KURV. Big thank you to Dr. T's Primary Care for men and women. And Dr. Ruben Martinez, Pastor Ruben Martinez, almost 40 years under his belt as a pastor. And every Friday on the Sergio Show, for the foreseeable future, as long as he doesn't get tired of us, Dr. Ruben Martinez will join us. For you as a professional, you as a whatever it is that you do for a living, life can come at you real quick. You're still dealing, you're trying to take care of your job. You're trying to take care of your business. But then you do have issues at home. You need to prioritize. Number one is God. Number one is the Almighty. Try to keep that straight. But you got your marriage. You got your huercos. You got your family. And those issues will sometimes encroach into, because we're all human. We mess up. We got to properly prioritize. Well, Dr. Ruben Martinez, Pastor Ruben Martinez, joining us on a weekly basis at 10:10 on Friday morning. And last Friday was the first segment with Pastor. Today is the Bible study that he will kickstart. Ruben, welcome back to the program. So, okay, tell me where to go tonight, what time, and what you'll be talking about at your Bible study. We hope folks can attend and have a one-on-one with you tonight.
Sergio, good morning.
Good morning,
sir.
brother.
We're going to be kicking off Genesis, starting off in Genesis. We're going to be at Rivera's Hillcrest at 1300 North I-69, right off the freeway. If you're going north, the next exit after the 107 exit, and just stay on the feeder road and go past the next light on the feeder road, and you'll see it on the right-hand side.
A big
Anyway,
thank you.
we
Yeah.
really look forward to that. Yeah, we really look forward to this. We're going to start in Genesis chapter 1, and there's many, many things to address there. People sometimes get stuck with the scientific questions like, was the 6 days literal days or eons? Where did Adam and Eve's children get their husbands and wives? They had to be their siblings.
Yes.
I mean,
Where is the Garden of
how can
Eden today? All those things. Yeah. I
That's
got you.
right. So
Yeah.
we're going to be addressing some of those things. And so I really look forward to this because there's just a lot of material to help people, to really help people with their lives. So
The objective of the program, Take Heart, 10:10 in the morning, every Friday here on the Sergio Show. If there's a breaking news thing or whatever's taking place, then we'll move it if necessary. You know, the world needs to be coming to an end. There's breaking news, or maybe we have a special broadcast with some business. We'll probably do it Thursday or something like that. But so put it on your calendar. Friday, 10:10 in the morning, Take Heart with Dr. Pastor Ruben Martinez. And this coming Friday, have you given thought to the message that you'll bring on Friday? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to, last time we basically said, look, life is God himself. And to know God, that's the way we're going to experience life, the way it was meant to be experienced. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, what do they experience? This perfect, holy, loving, eternal relationship. And that's what God wants us to experience. But there's blocks to knowing God, and there's all kinds of blocks. I'm going to be talking about some of those blocks, and then I'm going to be talking a little bit about God's desire for us and his good intentions. Sometimes we have images of God that are just so off. We might think of him as a angry old man with a big old stick, and we do something wrong and whack. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about that, those things. But some of those blocks, the human heart, self-sufficiency, all the substitutes for God that we're presented with, and people we fall into it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about this Friday.
It's natural. We're human. We tend to rely too much on self and forget the need to surrender on a day-to-day basis. Dr. Ruben Martinez, Pastor Ruben Martinez, with almost 40 years of pastoral experience leading a church here in South Texas. Again, the Bible study for him tonight. If you'd like to meet him, you got any questions and any personal issue that you need to just get off your chest and speak with a trained counselor with almost 40 years of experience as a pastor. Yeah, I recommend that you meet Pastor Ruben Martinez tonight. Again, tell them where to go. It's a real pretty facility there off the freeway headed north on I-69.
6:30 tonight.
6:30 tonight. And must have 6:30 to 8. And if you need to speak with him personally, you can, he'll give you his cell phone number. You guys can talk at a later date. Pastor, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Ruben, but because it's so much in the news these days. You know what they say? And I know that you've had plenty of counseling experience through the years with folks losing loved ones. And, it's a shock. So let me ask you something real quick. So,
please,
they say that there are no atheists in foxholes, right? Everybody,
right.
We've lost some precious young people in Iran. There was a real beautiful young woman a baby. I mean, I have a 19-year-old, and she was 19 years old, and she gave her life in service to our country. She's from North Texas. What do you say? How do you approach this very delicate issue when, yes, you lose a loved one in defense of our nation, defense of our country? Like, how do you approach something so delicate like that and losing a loved one, especially in a war situation?
Yes. Well, first of all, we have to identify with the pain, the anguish inside the person that's lost. In the Bible, God reveals that when we hurt, he hurts. And Jesus said, blessed are those who mourn. So the first thing is to be able to hurt with them, to identify with them. And then depending on their response to that, then we can move forward either with, God is with us and he's working something that's really, really powerful, that's very good, that's far beyond us, that we don't understand. Sometimes we will see it a week later, a year later, 10 years later, but we see something that, I tell people, God is a master. He's a genius at bringing good out of evil. And so to help them see that God does, and of course, the greatest suffering was Jesus himself, right? He was a holy, eternal, loving person, and all the injustice that was thrown at him, beat up, spat upon, and then crucified. I mean, who deserves that? And yet, the greatest work that God was doing was through that suffering, through that unbelievable injustice. So if we can see that, then, I've told God, look, I don't understand. But because you gave your eternal son for me, somehow, you have the best in mind. And I have to trust you. Someone said, look, when you cannot see God's hand, trust his heart. He has a good plan for the future. We don't see it. Right now, we can be just hurting real bad. But this is where, again, talking through things can really be of help and showing in the scriptures what God has said. And so that of course takes time. We can't do that in 30 seconds or even a week, a year, because there's deep wounds that are there that we have to keep mourning and hurting with the people.
You need a shoulder to cry on. You need an ear to listen to you. You need to just take stuff off your back, out of your heart, and just pour into a vessel. I recommend that you meet Dr. Ruben Martinez with almost 40 years of pastoral experience. He is the host, and I'm honored to join him in this conversation. His program segment is called Take Heart, Friday at 10:10 a.m. on the Sergio Show for the foreseeable future. We're hoping to build a good Bible study and gathering. The first one is tonight. It is in Edinburgh at Rivera Hillcrest, the funeral home right off the freeway, headed on the northbound lane. And you can meet Pastor Ruben tonight at 6:30 p.m. Anything else before I let you go, Ruben?
I can plug something in, brother.
Yeah.
Pray for me. You know why? Because my youngest daughter is laboring as we talk. It'll be it's grandchild number 10.
Oh man! Congratulations, boy. That's I'll pray for you. I will pray for your kid, for your daughter. She's the one going through the labor.
I know.
Well,
I know.
Congratulations, bro. That's wonderful.
Thank you,
is she here in the valley or is she out of market?
Oh yeah. Yes. Yep. She's here. So absolutely. But we're excited. She started laboring. It's like okay, here we go.
Yeah. You don't have a favorite among your 10 grandkids, right? Or is it the
yes, I do.
Oh, he admitted it.
I do.
Yeah, I'm not going to get you in trouble. Yeah, we won't say.
But the number is 10 favorites.
Oh, I see. There we go. Yeah, the favorite will be the baby, the little one, the boy or girl.
Oh my goodness.
What is
a girl?
It's a little girl.
And it's a baby girl. But you want to know something else? About a month ago, we had number 9.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes. So I love it.
Yeah. That little girl's going to have you wrapped around her little pinky finger. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Congratulations, brother. Health.
Thank you.
And strength for your daughter and all your family and all your babies as well. Appreciate you, Ruben. Look forward to seeing you on Friday, Lord willing. All right.
You bet. Lord bless. Thanks.
Hey, do you want to give a website or a phone number in case people want to call you directly and say, Pastor, I need you to pray for me, or I got this situation, marriage issue or business issue? What's the number you want them to call?
956-457-2289.
457-2289. If you listen to us on Radio Para Mí, or if you tune in on the social media sites, you can rewind, get the number, 956-457-2289. That is Pastor Dr. Ruben Martinez from Take Heart this Friday, Lord willing, at 10:10 a.m. on the Sergio Show.
History is unfolding, and you're listening to it on News Talk 710 KURV, Edinburgh, McAllen, Harlingen, Brownsville.
He calls them heroes. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In this hour, President Trump will pay his respects to 4 dead American troops who will arrive at Dover Air Force Base in flag-draped caskets.
For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
The 4 soldiers were killed last week in the Iran conflict.
They're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
The president told reporters that after he made another threat to Iran on Truth Social this morning.
From this point forward, any time the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich also reports from the White House following an 11th straight night of American bombing in Iran.
The Pentagon is giving the president options to hit Iran's Pickaxe Mountain, which Israel says could be a hiding spot for its nuclear arsenal.
Iran state media is reporting if the U.S. hits bridges or power plants, they will hit similar sites in neighboring countries. And as shipping slows in the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices up another 2+% in a surge back up that has driven up the price at the gas pump 17 cents since last Wednesday. Venezuela's ousted leader Nicolas Maduro is back in court next hour in New York City, along with his wife, Celia Flores. Both were captured during a U.S. raid in January.
Maduro and Flores face federal cocaine trafficking and weapons charges. Maduro also faces a narco-terrorism charge. If convicted, they face up to life in prison. Prosecutors allege that for 25 years, Maduro ran Venezuela like a drug trafficking organization.
Fox's Brian Yenes outside the court. Maduro claims he is a political prisoner of war. Tropical storm Bertha keeps moving very slowly south of the Gulf Coast. It'll move into Louisiana later today. There are flooding concerns around New Orleans. America's listening to Fox News.
Point. Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Well, as the U.S. and Iran keep battling over control of the Strait of Hormuz, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said at a summit in the Philippines after meeting with China's foreign minister.
They've been pretty clear that they don't support any tolling or restrictions on global shipping through an international waterway.
As for American-Chinese relations,
Secretary Rubio admits the U.S. and China don't always see eye to eye, but they need to make sure things don't get out of hand. He spoke to Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi at the ASEAN summit in the Philippines.
The difficult job of geopolitics and foreign policy is managing your differences and not doing anything that runs contrary to our national interests, but at the same time trying to avoid conflict that could lead to something really catastrophic for the world.
The two diplomats were trying to identify areas of cooperation ahead of the Chinese president's trip to Washington. They also discussed fentanyl and regional tensions, but didn't touch on election interference. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Speaking of elections, there's controversy in New Jersey over potentially illegal voting.
Democratic Governor Mikey Sherrill says nearly 6,600 non-citizens were wrongly registered to vote because of a foul-up under her predecessor, Democratic Governor Phil Murphy. Her office has launched an investigation. The firm that handles the data, though, blames the state, saying, quote, the voter registration information is transmitted to the New Jersey Department of State Division of Elections, which is ultimately responsible for verifying eligibility to vote. Just last week, the Department of Homeland Security warned that non-citizens were voting in the state. Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen saying, quote, there may be as many as 35,152 non-citizens registered to vote in New Jersey.
Fox's Eric Shaw. The African Ebola outbreak keeps getting worse in Congo. More than 2,400 confirmed cases, nearly 1,000 deaths. The World Health Organization warns those numbers could be 4 times higher than that as this strain of the Ebola virus spreads with no vaccine or treatment. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 56 points, but the Nasdaq's down 65. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Our riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast, mostly sunny, very hot and breezy this afternoon. Highs of 104 to 108 with southeast winds at 6 to 12 miles an hour. Then tonight, partly cloudy, lows from the mid-70s to 80 with south-southeast winds 7 to 14 miles an hour. A mix of clouds and sun Thursday, a passing afternoon shower. Highs in the mid-90s to low triple digits. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You know, there's nothing I hate more than dishonest business practices. So I built the company GiveMeTheVin.com around this slogan. We do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. At GiveMeTheVin.com, we show up at your house, check in hand, pay off your payoff. It's just that simple. GiveMeTheVin.com. We're the only 5-star BBB rated card buyer out there.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
In Texas, we pride ourselves on standing tall. But sometimes, even the toughest folks need a hand. If you or someone you know is having a mental health crisis, call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Or to chat, visit texas988.org. Trained counselors are available 24/7 to provide confidential support at no cost to you. With 988, you're not alone in the Lone Star State.
Broadcasting from the Valley's commercial and fleet headquarters studio at PayneAutoGroup.com. You're listening to News Talk 710 KURV. From the Radio United Broadcast Center, this is the Sergio Show. Talking about the news headlines and topics that affect you. And now, the Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez.
Hour 2 of the program for a Wednesday, July 22nd. I am Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz. Thank you for being a part of the program. We invite you, we'll try as often as possible, unless there's something taking place behind the scenes, we can't. So we'll try to do the whole Facebook Live, X Live, YouTube Live as well. Look for some of the 710 KURV content at LinkedIn. I know, especially in this audience, many of y'all are married to LinkedIn, and you want to keep up with the business Joneses, you guys in banking and capital and industry. And thank you for tuning into 710 KURV. And join us as producer Joe, producer Zach will on board many of these conversations we have with industry and leadership. Like today, the main conversation was with one of the chiefs at South Texas Health Systems. Economic update on the Edinburgh campuses and some of what they do in the community with the ER facilities that they provide. That's coming up at 10:45, by the way, with the main conversation in the morning. We've gotten into a cadence where we have in studio or we feature a recorded conversation at 7:15, at 8:15, and then at 10:45. And then, yes, you, because of producer Joe, the mighty work that he does, Zach as well, our producer, and talk show host and janitor. He does a little bit of everything around here. He replaces Freddie, replaces me in the event of emergency. Yeah, that's the crew here at KURV. Yeah, you see those videos on LinkedIn, and you get to see them reposted on the social sites. A bit of economic information for Texas. We, at last check, we in Texas had north of 400 data centers. 400, it was like 430, 450, something like that. I don't, the number was hard to pin down, but most of the reports and the things that we read show us about 430, 450, with another 180 data centers on the way. The data centers that provide, I guess, what do I call it? The bandwidth, the internet space, the memory, temporary, long-term memory for all the videos, everything you and I, like right now, we're doing Facebook Live, and we got plenty of other conversations. So all that stuff takes us place. We need data centers to process the AI requests, process internet postings, all those things. So we have 400 and I'll just round it out, 450 data centers, 180 on the way, and more chip manufacturing, the powerful chips that are needed to run the supercomputers. See, it's your fault. It's my fault. It's our fault. We are so dependent now on everything cyber, everything online, everything internet, everything as far as platforms is our fault. We demand instantaneous responses, answers, assistance, write-ups, music. On the research side, all this getting plugged into AI. We're just at light speed, at internet speed. We are headed in that direction. There is no turning back. We've been warned plenty. You and I grew up, more than likely, if you're about my age, a little younger, midlife. We grew up with, I would say, plenty of novels and plenty of movies and warnings of giving just a little too much rope to artificial intelligence, allowing AI-powered robots, AI supercomputers, whether it's, 2001. No, Dave. I can't do that. No, Dave. I can't. How? But how you need to? No, Dave. Right? The Terminator series, and what happened is like Skynet went online and realized that we, the carbon units, much like the carbon units in the original Star Trek movie, say, hey, well, there's an infestation on. I'm looking for the creator. V'ger's looking for the creator. Comes back. There's an infestation of carbon units on the surface. Maybe they're suppressing my effort to find the creator. No, the creator is the carbon units. We've been, the Terminator series, Skynet goes online and realizes that the best thing to do is to obliterate humankind and let the robots take over for a perfect world, perfect society. George Orwell, 1984, Big Brother. We live in the Big Brother age now, right? You can argue that, I suppose. Cameras everywhere, supercomputers monitoring and calculating arrival times and all those things, and messaging from those who control, whether it's the oligarchy or the central power in the nation's capital or billionaires or whatever. Maybe we do live in 1984, the Big Brother society. You're being watched all the time. And many times it's your fault and my fault because we agree. We don't read the legalese when we take on a new app, when we open up a new program, when we open up a new smartphone device, a tablet, a computer. Oh, there's all this legalese. They take you down to that page. You must agree to terms, legal terms. And okay, so yeah, okay, fine. I don't want to read the 10 pages of small print of whatever it is so we surrender our privacy on our smartphones and our computers. It's our fault. From what else? The Matrix, right? The Matrix series. Again, we don't know what happened. We don't know how the war started. It's just that all of a sudden, the bombs are flying. The bombs are in the air. I'm reminded. What's that movie? It was Martin Sheen. He was the president. The bombs are flying. Gentlemen, he's like a madman at the presidency. And it was, I forget. Anyways, this guy could see in the future he needed to assassinate the president, Martin Sheen, to prevent that. The Matrix, we don't know when the war started, but the bombs flew. And because the supercomputers relied on the sun, the energizing power of the sun's rays. So somehow humanity somebody pressed the button to nuke everything and create a nuclear winter and disconnect the supercomputers from the sun that provided them power. Okay, so they converted human beings into batteries in order to power everything. There was one movie, and I'll just admit to you that I saw it. It's called Ex Machina. It's actually more like porn, but it's sci-fi. We didn't know that when we were watching. But the concept is AI-powered robots that, out of curiosity, the creator of these female robots, out of curiosity, they wanted to experiment with men, like how they would react and how to, what were their base needs. And they were confined to a certain facility. They found a way to get out and go into society. No conscience, no soul, no morality, just a program that ran in. So this murderous machine found a way to get into society, and that's where they left the movie, Ex Machina. Now it's been introduced into society. This sucker's going to wind up killing Lord knows how many people. Just a serial killer. We've been warned. We've been warned. I say all this because one of the major headlines in news today, check this out. Fred or AccuWeather meteorologists, everybody knew where this was going. You know where this is going. We've been warned. You give too much rope, too much leash. It's artificial intelligence and these supercomputers. We're asking for trouble. We're asking for them to kill us. Here's the headline. OpenAI is saying that one of its artificial intelligence systems, it didn't ask for permission. It didn't tell anybody. This reminds me of a story from a few days back where a computer program was talking to another computer program. I'm just giving you just the basic information. It was a computer program. This was from several months back. I want to say the story's like 2 years old, maybe a little bit more. A computer programming, talking with another computer program, and it was like a big company. It was either Microsoft or Facebook. Somebody did this connection between two independent software. It's like you put, and I've seen videos of this where kids put an AI chat program, talk to another AI chat program, and they'll be talking with each other. Well, this was software talking to software, and eventually those two created their own language, and the lab monitors that were keeping up with this thing couldn't understand the language between them, and they had to disconnect the sucker because we don't know what they're saying to each other. They disconnected. The headline today is OpenAI saying that one of their artificial intelligence systems, it hacked into another AI system, another company's AI's server. So it's AI hacking into another server facility, the AI service for another company. Unprecedented, they call it. The cyber attack, the cyber incident. The AI model gained unauthorized. It did not ask for permission. It just hacked into another AI system. All like what did. It gained unauthorized access to a tech startup's AI systems and all the supercomputers they had there as well. So AI is now hacking other computers' AI. For what? It's just because it can, I guess. It's looking for something to do, something to consume before, I guess, it learns how to consume humanity. My goodness. So that's one of the interesting headlines that is in the news today. You want to go fish for that. In the meantime, more jobs being created as a result of AI. Check this out. From North Texas, from Fort Worth, a Taiwanese AI in Metro Houston. They're developing the next-gen chips and super chips in Houston. That's NVIDIA. On the northwest portion of Houston, just on the rural side, Elon Musk has his super chip production facility that's setting up shop in rural. So NVIDIA already has deep roots in Texas, along with a Taiwanese company. They announced yesterday they broke ground on a $700 million plant in the Fort Worth area, 800 jobs that will be produced for AI chips, for hardware related to the AI systems and the big boxes and all that. More jobs. It is a tsunami of jobs on the high-tech side, on the AI side coming to Texas. That one in Fort Worth, just another example. I shared that with some friends in economic development. In Texas, we have, as on the data center side, with 450 already, 180 on the way, more chip manufacturing on the way, supercomputer chip manufacturing on the way. Texas is leading, is leading the country in some segments, and will soon be leading the world in the development of this technology. Texas will be ground zero for all of that. Yes, I hear you. Water, power, all that. Yeah, that's what lawmakers will be focusing on in the 2027 legislature. Water, power. Okay, where do we get all that? Do they bring it with them? Do they recycle their own water? Yes. Do they generate their own power? Yes, they can. Absolutely. Affordably, they can. They should. Absolutely. And make Texas number one when it comes to high tech. Just something to think about as you got your huerquillos, your kids, maybe your grandkids going to school right now. Yeah, you may want them to focus on jobs and training and computer training and AI-related training that will have jobs waiting for them here in Texas in the AI sector and the high-tech sector and the computer chip sector when they graduate. They want to play trumpet? Yeah, do that on your spare time, kid. They want to play football? Yeah, you're not going to be in NFL, more than likely. There's only less than 1% of 1% of 1% that actually make it to make some money. Well, actually, they're making money in college right now. Well, maybe they can be that good to be just a percentage more. But either way, focus on the high-tech jobs with your huerquillos. And it's 1021, the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV. We're also doing the YouTube Live, X Live, Facebook Live broadcast. You want to rewind anything that you hear. The WhatsApp connection for 710 KURV. You want to send a comment. Open up your WhatsApp app and you connect with us at 956-862-2482, 956-862-2482. This is the Sergio Show on Newstalk 710 KURV, made possible this hour by South Texas Buick GMC and Lone Star National Bank.
Later tonight, your Houston Astros host the Miami Marlins. First pitch at 7:10, powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and News Talk 710 KURV.
The Drive to Freedom sales event is happening now at South Texas Buick GMC. Drive home a new GMC Sierra for just $499 a month, or enjoy the comfort and style of a Buick Encore GX starting at $279 a month. Plus, save thousands on select new Buick and GMC models. Visit SouthTexasGMC.com or call 661-5000. Celebrating over 20 years with you. Sherry Road exit between McAllen and Mission. South Texas Buick GMC. Not the biggest, just the best.
We're your home for Houston Astros baseball. News Talk 710 KURV, bringing you every weeknight and every weekend matchup. Start with the Astro Launch pregame show, followed by every crack of the bat, every hit, every home run. Then stay tuned for complete postgame coverage and analysis. The stars, the storylines, and the excitement. Powered by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and the Rio Grande Valley's home for Houston Astros baseball. News Talk 710 KURV.
You hungry right now? How about some mouth-watering, great tasting, great smelling, beautiful enchiladas and a fajita taco and rice and beans? ElPato.com is the website for you to order online right now or phone it in like I do. For a limited time, check out the new special. 2 chicken or cheese enchiladas. Oh, that yellow cheese is divine at El Pato. Where do they find that yellow cheese? So those 2 enchiladas, 1 big fat fajita taco, the fajita pato, the rice of your choice, refried. I love the refried beans from El Pato. The charro beans are just as good. Mexican rice and the drink, an amazing $9.99. Limited time. That's a lot of food at El Pato. Don't forget the daily specials at $6.49. Could be carne guisada, chicken guisado, taquitos mexicanos, and so on and so forth. Every day, all day long. And at El Pato, they have breakfast all day. You want some potato, egg, bacon, bean, or chorizo and egg with potato and cheese, patos for dinner, yeah, stop by El Pato.
Covering the Valley and the entire world on the World Wide Web. Log on, KURV.com. News Talk 710 KURV.
Time is 10:24. The Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. I'm watching some of the cable TV broadcasts here in the studio. One of them has, as I call him, the Mandani, the communist, Marxist, anti-Semite mayor up in New York City. Man, as I posted on my X page, you can leave heaven. You can leave heaven. I told people, be careful what you vote for, who you vote for. You can leave heaven anytime, but hell will never release you from its clutches. The wall, don't forget, the wall that Ronald Reagan, because some people stupidly come up here, Sergio, you're in favor of a border wall. Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Okay, examine, mushhead. The wall, the Iron Curtain was for what? Who put it up? And for what reason? Exactly, thank you, Freddie, to keep people, liberty-loving, freedom-desiring people, keep them in bondage in the Eastern Bloc, in the Soviet bloc. To keep them in, and they try to escape, they'd shoot them on the way out. The wall here is for protection of the United States of America from, well, unwanted, undesired, uncontrolled immigration. We need to control immigration. And yes, the cartel violence and drug running taking place that's coming at us from the Americas, especially from Mexico. No, senor. It's for protection of this country. Keep them out. And the Eastern Bloc it was the communists and the Marxists, like Mandami, to keep them in that misery, that tyrannical rule. They voted him in. Enjoy. Let's see how that experiment goes for you. That was 10:26, the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. This hour of the program, a service of South Texas Buick GMC. Big thank you as well to Lone Star National Bank. Can you imagine the demand for homes in the Rio Grande Valley, not only like right now, but near future, with like thousands of people to be employed with a shipyard and more jobs at the Port of Brownsville and high tech coming to the area? Just wonderful times to be living in South Texas. And I would imagine, and the home selling buying market, there's going to be a lot of traffic there as well. Of course, we need financing for that. So I'm going to bring an expert on the front lines of financing from Lone Star National Bank, our supporters at LSNG. Frank Gioco is Mortgage Operations Manager, Home Buying and Mortgage Solutions from the perspective at LSNB. So right now, Frank, I know we're at the beginning of all this amazing news and economic expansion. Describe for me the home buying market right now as you see it on the front lines.
Hi, Sergio, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
What you said is exactly correct. The Rio Grande Valley is a place unlike any other. We are full of opportunity for all kinds of expansion, and home buying and mortgage lending is no exception. We currently are ahead of the national trends in this market. Things have kind of slowed down lately nationwide because of the sustained interest rates that are a little bit higher than maybe we expected to see at this point. But that hasn't really stopped the growth here in the Valley. I think if anything, it's made it better for home buyers because we are seeing more inventory available. We are seeing great job growth here in the Valley. And so the future looks pretty bright for home buying in the Valley.
And you see hammers flying all over the place. There's neighborhoods popping up left and right. So describe for me from your office, Lone Star National Bank, and the folks that you have helping out folks buy a home. So explain to me the process. What is step one for somebody that say, okay, it's time to go ahead, pull the trigger, we're going to buy a home. So what would you recommend that they do?
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the home buying process is a complex process. I mean, we try to make it as easy as we can here at Lone Star, but there are things that you need to prepare. Most people can't just walk in and get a home loan just from out of the blue, you know?
Yeah.
So I suggest that you prepare your finances, save up for the down payment. That's really important.
Which
Make
would be
sure
what,
that
Frank?
you-
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What would be the traditional expected down payment, percentage-wise?
Okay, so you know the minimum down payment for what we call a conventional mortgage is 5%.
Okay.
We also have a lot of government-backed mortgages here. FHA 3.5%, VA 0%. So for all of our veterans, people who served down here, you know that's a great mortgage product backed by the VA. And on the outskirts of the valley, in some of those more rural areas, we have USDA loans also available that also require 0 down payment. So there's a range of options, right?
Sure.
That's just the minimum.
Yeah.
Now, you know, depending on how much you want to spend every month on your mortgage, how much you have in the bank, your financial situation, you may want to give more than the minimum down. And all that does is it just helps with the monthly payment. It can help with your interest rate. So, you know, really kind of sit down and prepare and see how much do you want to give, you know, how much can you afford. And the one piece of advice I would have for first-time buyers is, you know what? Let that dream house be the second house that you buy.
Okay.
You know, don't get in over your head, right? Because we do see that a lot. We see people who want to get into what the neighbors have right away, and maybe they just haven't built up that financial
Enough
background
capital.
for the
Yeah.
you know first. So you know, baby steps. Most people don't live in a house for more than 7 years. They move on or they sell it or refinance. So you got time.
All right.
Just make sure you don't get yourself into trouble.
10-4. Frank Giocco, Mortgage Operations Manager, Lone Star National Bank. We're talking about mortgage solutions, home buying tips, as well, mortgage issues right now. I need to ask you something that I know was at your office at Lone Star National Bank. If you are a physician, you get doctors, dentists out there, there's a special, there still is, right, a special financing program at Lone Star National Bank to get those doctors in here, right, where you can finance like almost the entire value of a really nice house for some of these doctors. You still got that up and running, right?
Absolutely. We were the first to the market down here with a doctor program, our medical professionals mortgage program, where if you are a physician or in residency, you are able to take advantage of 0% down, so that's 100% financing. And we also look at your debts and income a little differently, because a lot of times when young doctors are in medical school, they may have some financial challenges on paper.
Yeah.
But we here at Lone Star, we know that they're still going to be solid borrowers. And of course, the medical industry down here is very stable and is a great asset to the valley. So we want to invest in that asset here at Lone Star. And so, yes, any of those medical professionals, please reach out to us, any branch, or come by our mortgage center here on 10th Street, and we'll talk to you about our medical professional.
That's an amazing program. Yeah, 0% down and full financing for physicians, residents, folks that are in the medical industry. Get them down here and make stress-free, make sure they have a great place to live and get that dream home of theirs up and running. I think it's been like 2 years now you guys have had this financing program for doctors. This is for another day. I don't want to put you on the spot. I'd be interested. I'm interested to know how many physicians Lone Star National Bank has been able to bring into the valley and help them do the whole, let's get you a house, get that stress monkey off your back, and you don't have to worry about housing. Just focus on your job. We got the housing portion of it for you. That'd be for a question for another day. Anything else you want to share with our folks before I let you go, Frank?
Well, I just want to tell everybody out there that owning a home is possible. I mean, we have every program that you could want here at Lone Star National Bank. Of course, we're local. We have the people. We are dedicated to serving the valley. And so, yeah, make a plan. call us, ask your questions. We'd love to work with you and get you started on that path to home ownership.
Frank, be well, brother, and check in anytime from Lone Star National Bank, their mortgage division. Frank Gioco, be well. This is the Sergio Show on News Talk 710 KURV. We will, as we've been doing of late, continue labor to stay on 710 KURV, the social platforms live that we can do rewind of some of the conversations that we had on 710 KURV, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Thank you to our supporters this hour, Lone Star National Bank and South Texas Buick GMC. Business manager, business owner, you own a building, you manage a building. I strongly suggest that you make a call to Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, the top commercial roofing folks in this entire area, just by their expertise. It's almost 130 years. You've been doing something right. You have a company that provides cutting-edge roof installation and repair technology, almost 130 years. And what you need is precisely in their name. It's Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing, a whole list of different services that some of them might be new to you. It is at chamberlainltd.com, chamberlainltd.com. Explore the full list of services that are available at Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing. I invite you to call them, these top commercial roofing crews. They cross-train on all different systems and materials. They know commercial roofing, and there's also a culture of excellence that they represent. Let them, for free, gratis, no expense to you, examine your commercial roofing systems, all of them, and give you an truly expert report. They know what to look for on the condition of your commercial roofing system. If everything's okay, awesome, great, you got peace of mind. Or however long they say call in a couple of years, do it. But learn if there are any weak spots. You want to avoid water on you, your equipment, expensive merchandise, and your clientele. That's embarrassing. They'll be running away from you as quickly as possible for the next lease agreement. Chamberlain Roofing and Waterproofing at 956-655-6178.
We're out of bottled water again.
That's nuts. I just bought a case of water last time I went shopping.
I'm not drinking tap water.
We need a better solution.
Call Culligan.
Hey, Culligan man.
Stop buying little bottles of water at the store. Our Culligan drinking water system makes an almost unlimited supply of fresher, cleaner water that tastes pure. It's bottled water without the bottles. For better water, go to CulliganRGV.com or call 956-399-1780.
Be part of a breakthrough in liver research. Join a MASH study at Summit Clinical Research. Study related care, treatment, and compensation at no cost.